What's up guys, I wanted to make a little video about my BDS lift kit. I've had it for about 2 years and I think that's plenty of time to get an idea of how well the product works and if you like it, if you think it's going to last. So it's an 8-inch BDS 4-link coilover kit. I didn't like how it was a little lower in the front once I got the coilovers put on, so we adjusted them up to 10 inches, which I'm super happy with. It sits totally level, and I have plenty of room for the 40-inch trail grapplers I put on there with 24x14s, and then now I've got these factory 20-inch wheels with 2-inch shifted industry spacers and 40-15-50 mud wraps. I don't scrub at all, and I feel super capable of doing anything I want to do with this truck. This kit has the coilover bucket that totally replaces your factory coil mount. Some of the newer ones, you have the option, I think, to just cut the coil mount a little bit and modify it. I like how this has the whole new bracket for your auxiliary shock and everything. It just looks really sturdy. You can see these drop down brackets for the anti-sway bar and the adjustable track bar. I've also got the dual Fox steering stabilizers, you can see there. This kit uses the factory sway bar and end links. So some people you'll see go and modify that and get like a sway bar that tucks up more with longer end links. I've had no issues with the factory sway bar running 40s, and you really don't see it. It doesn't stick down too low in my opinion. Like, you'll never notice it unless you're really looking for it. The 4-link still looks super new, besides a little dirt here and there, but I'm not getting any squeaking or popping or anything after 2 years. The leaf springs in the rear, this kit has no blocks. It's the factory block with just an 8-inch leaf spring that just has a steeper arc. So that way you get your lift without having to have a giant spacer in there, causing extra leverage over your leaf spring and making people uncomfortable with big blocks. So I definitely like having the bigger leaf spring versus a bigger block. I will say the back is pretty stiff. Now this kit is meant to work, meant to off-road, tow and everything. It's not a show truck lift, but I've used it as that. So my leaf springs really aren't broken in. If you were towing as much as you should with a big, 6.7 diesel like this, most people are going to be towing stuff. I've towed a couple center consoles and four-wheelers, but nothing heavy enough to really break in the leaves. So after 2 years, they're still pretty stiff. But I say that's just comes with the design. It's meant to be able to load the back up, even though it's 8-inch lift, and it not sag. The other thing I wanted to talk about with this video is I bought the DCS coilovers. I think that's what it is. It's like dual speed compression adjustable coilovers that Fox makes. It was a little bit extra, and it just gives you these knobs that let you fine-tune your high and low speed compression adjustability. So I haven't touched it in 2 years. I haven't really needed to. Ride's fine. I thought it'd be cool to have the adjustment, so I figured while I'm making this video, I'll drive around with it in the factory settings, how the coilovers come, and then I talked to Brad from BDS some while I was at Daytona, and he said that you could lower it to the all the way negative, should be the smoother ride. If you're not doing like aggressive driving and everything and jumping off stuff, it's going to be more plush. So I'll try that out. I believe that's what he said. It's been a little bit since I asked him, but I plan on just driving around some, setting the GoPro up, just seeing how they move, how the truck rides, and see if we can tell a difference by adjusting them, see if it's worth the few extra $100 to be able to adjust them. I thought it was a super cool feature. I don't want to have to get my coilover service to change how they ride. It's nice to have just the adjustment, you know, like a higher end mountain bike or something. You can just play with it. I think that's pretty cool. And I really like to nerd out on this kind of stuff, and I like to see what the difference is when you adjust that type of thing. So we'll try that out, do a little driving around, and see if we can tell a difference. So just gonna do a little driving around with the GoPro in the cab just to kind of see what it looks like from the inside, going over bumps and everything. I think my iPad mount might be a good indication of how much it moves and everything, because it's kind of wobbly. But been really happy with these coilovers so far from BDS, and just, you know, like I said, haven't really needed to change the settings on them, but while I have the option, I might as well play with it. So we'll see if we can tell a difference just on my normal drive to work between the two settings, from factory to all the way to the softest setting. If y'all have any requests for a review of anything on my truck. I've already done a review of my exhaust, and compared my two different wheel and tire setups. Thought about doing an amp research step review. Just let me know what y'all want to see. I've got a review of my tuner and everything on there too, just trying to get some information out there on why I went with the products I went with and how I like them, since I've had most of this stuff for a couple years now. I'm gonna try to hit these little potholes off to the right that I hit when I was just getting a clip of the suspension. We'll see if people are gonna be in the way or not. Stock setting on the coilovers, really not a bad ride. Hitting bumps, not a big deal. The back is definitely stiffer, so a lot of times you'll like not really feel it in the front, and then the back, unless you have a lot of weight in the back, it kind of kicks a little bit. So if you go over a speed bump, you know, it's pretty plush in the front, and like I said, the back's just stiff. I don't have any load on those leaf springs, and that's just the way leaf springs work. finally, after 2 years, I'm adjusting my adjustable coilovers. Like I said, I'm going to try the all the way negative side. You can see this way is positive and this way is negative. And see, the little gold knob was your low speed compression and the blue is your high speed. So I've got that all the way maxed out to the negative side, which is less compression. So hopefully that will be a smoother ride. We'll see what the difference is. I'm gonna do it to the other side, and we'll do the same driving around, same view of the coilover and some in the cab, and just see if it's noticeable at all, if it's worth the extra couple $100. Obviously it didn't help the back out any, because you know the back, just the leaf springs, but I kind of think I could feel it just going over those roots a little bit. It already felt a little bit softer, but let's see, maybe I'm just, you know, wishful thinking. I honestly think I can feel it already. It maybe, you know, I'm just looking for it, but it feels like it's moving the same amount, but the movements are slower. So I hit a little bump and it doesn't kind of react so fast, and I believe that is what the compression does for you. But you know, I'm just trying to see if I can really tell, and so far just the little dips in the road feel a little smoother. I think despite my best efforts with all these camera angles and everything, that was a pretty good one. That was pretty smooth. You're really not gonna be able to tell inside the truck just on video. I think it might be kind of a seat of the pants type deal, but honestly I can feel it. It may take, you know, a few more days of driving around and updates to really see if I think it's worth the money, but so far I feel like there definitely is a difference between adjusting them versus leaving them alone. Try hitting these same potholes again. I've been trying to hit them at the same speed every time. And we got people in front of me, so I gotta stop. But that wasn't too bad. Still pretty stiff in the back, of course. And it probably looks crazy in here how much it moves around, but those are some pretty gnarly potholes. Even being on 40s with coilovers and everything, they'll throw you around. That's why I hit them. It's a good kind of representation of a little bit of off-roading. I mean, it's just on the side of the road, but they're some of them are 8 inches deep or so, and just big enough to get your whole tire down and, you know, the whole contact of the tire on the road. So it throws you around a little bit. idea. I think hitting that a little faster and then also having to stop made it a little worse, but as far as the movement, it felt a little slower. I don't think it really kicked me the way the pothole normally would. Alright, so I've hit this speed bump at 10 miles an hour every time. Let's see how it is today. Yeah, it's still super soft in the front, and you know, the back bucks a little bit. I will say, I do love having the bigger leaf springs without blocks, but that is part of my stiffness problem, is because I have that. If you do have big lift blocks and stock leaf springs, the leaf springs will function a little bit closer to stock. But I just like the beefiness of the full-on leaf spring. I don't really like lift blocks. They don't look right to me, and I just don't like the idea of them. And I'm coming over here just to get this other little speed bump too. Hit it with one side to see how it does. Yeah, it feels a little softer, honestly. We'll see. I might have to make another video just to see it after driving it a little bit longer term, if I think it's really made that much of a difference. Alright, so for my overall opinion on this lift, I'd say the BDS kit itself is definitely worth the money. Have had no issues with it, super happy with it. They stand by their product, I'm happy. The coilovers, I'd say, are worth the money over just the coil springs that you can get with this kit. Now, if you want the DCS adjustable coilovers, that's a little bit harder to say. It kind of depends on the person. If you want like the best of the best, it definitely is. They're the top of line kit. With all the options, I'd say it's not as big of a deal as going from coils to coilovers, of course. I really would put your money towards that, and then if you have the extra money to get the adjustable compression coilovers, then do that as well. I would probably do it over again because I want the best of the best, and I like fine-tuning that stuff, and now I can play with it now that I know kind of how it works, what the difference is. You may not be able to tell in the video how much of a difference it made, but between myself driving it the past few days making this video, and also my wife riding with me to dinner, or her driving it some, we can tell a difference in it. And I think, you know, it's not just like knobs that don't do anything. They are worth the money. Just comes down to whether you want to spend the extra money for them or not. Thank you for watching.